In the corner has been swamped with a
mind control.
Mind control.
Mind control.
Mind control.
Receiving throws for mind control. So this is how bad I have failed. Receiving.
I understand you have respect for serious play. Yes, I have a ritual with my channel where, like reminding fish that they're in water. I remind people that there's a lot of mind control out there, even if you just consider advertising.
So this is how bad I have failed.
I give you a savings throw against the mind control I use against you. So A, you know I'm using it against you, and if it works, I get more points. And B, you get the chance to resist. You base your resistance on your choice between your will to survive, your social networks, your accumulated wisdom, or the power of your heart.
Mind control will continue in a moment.
Hello then, and welcome to Pray for Europe, a Grimgris stream for March 8th, 2025. Rearm is on the thumbnail just because I didn't edit it out there. Hey, there, hello. I see the assassins have failed. Anyway, you guys get saving throws against mind control. We're going to do that pretty quick. But first, a little rejoicing. Get out of the way. There.
Although this world will devastate you, and rejoice although this world will penetrate you, and rejoice although you will not survive. Rejoice you'll never make it out alive.
Excellent rehearsal, gentlemen.
And rejoice, your hair it smells like burning hair. Oh, rejoice, your nails all got chewed off. Oh, rejoice, and holy fuck, you're bleeding there. Oh, rejoice, you burn your whole beard off. Rejoice, despite the fact this world will hurt you. And rejoice, despite the fact this world will kill you. And rejoice, despite the fact this world will tear you to shreds. Rejoice because you're trying your best.
Hey, I love that one. That's gorgeous. Thank you, brother.
Wait, who's that brother? Andrew Jack.
And we got Dolly and Bong and Cassandra with one S and Slack and Life of Brian getting the +3 from chatting from the X. Saying this elbows up thing, I don't even know what that means, nor do I know what KTBFFH means. From Teo Falele. How you doing, Spatch and Joe Cross? And hey, how's it going there, Mark? We're doing the stream. This is the part where you get the savings throws against the mind control. You pick between survival, social, wisdom, or heart. I roll it. If it's 10 or higher, you've made your savings throw. Half damage. Half. And if it's under 10, full damage. +2 for chatting in the hive mind. +3 for Brian, because he was the first one to chat over on the Hex network. Good morning, Stephanie. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart? Choose. Ooh, survivalist with a nat 20 today. +3 to next stream save for you. That survivalists don't do that very often. Socialists coming in like usual with Trinity. Trinity socialists don't do well around here. Lovers of wisdom, number of transformation 11 for you. Hard folks, 1 for each chamber. That's a 4. Maybe this message will get through to you then. Indigo kids, Trinity pairing with the socialists. Trinity pairing with the socialists. Okay, so that's the saving throw against the mind control. This is a stream. Look, graphic image, and this has been officially released. We'll get to the prayer for Europe part pretty quick, and then we'll do some the clip stream reapers harvesting. That
I'm not a cat.
We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see. Doing what is right for me is lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency.
This just in, elbows up is Canadian mind control, a hockey reference for hurting your opponent. It's a jingoism. We don't jingoisms, man. Hey, Sonnenberg, very numerically resonant set. That's fun to say. Okay, so we got the thing we're going into. We got the cards of the show. Yeah, well, that's a deep cut. 7 of hearts for the agency deck card of the show. The thing that bothers now, if you're young or weren't interneted enough, you might not understand what happened. But once upon a time, okay, so it's like this. Have you ever like accidentally just put your hand in your pants and then you're like, whoa, like that, and then you go to your friend, you're like, hey, smell that, and they smell it? There's like that, right? But it's not that. It's not the thing. It's on the internet, and the internet version of that is like some jackass gets you to click a link, and when you click the link, you see a thing and you discover when you see this thing that there are some things that once seen cannot be unseen, and so you go do that to your friends. And one of the things that happened when I was in the 20, 30 years ago, and the internet was coming up, one of those things was called Goatsy. And the thing of it is it was an image from a fella they apparently named Mr. Hands, who had an encounter with a horse that was the kind of thing they put on the internet, and you get to see the aftermath of his encounter, and the aftermath of that encounter looked suspiciously, and I mean disturbingly suspiciously, like this there. This image, therefore, then, is from the European Commission over here. European Commission over here on that X platform. You can see there they got the little gray thingy. The check mark is gray. For news and information from the European Commission, social media and data protection policy, whatever that means. They say it's a pivotal moment for Europe, because see what happened was President Trump and Vance told that little guy, hey, we're not going to give you any more money. And so all these other guys were like, hey, we gotta give Ukraine money now, since America's not going to do it, right? And we are ready to mobilize with an S up to 800 billion to help EU countries increase defense with a C spending. We'll present our proposals to all EU leaders today at the European Council meeting. Europe is resolved to assume the position. That's the thing. Is they do this goat sex reference and use the word assume its responsibilities. And so the reason this stream is called, because like I'm not a Jonathan Pajot symbolic world kind of guy, but if this isn't a very clear message to everyone in Europe that this is about to happen to everyone in Europe, I don't know what is. And so if you live in Europe, perhaps relocate, because I mean
It's a whisper in your ear, now listen here. Remember, embody, it's all so clear. No hidden strings, no puppeteer. We're by your side, have no fear. I cherish truth. I cherish truth. Remember, embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.
So somehow it came to pass that I've recorded what we would call a fringe encounter around here with one Benjamin Boyce, and in such we discussed the Reaper's Hall and the clip stream and stuff, and he kept asking me, what patterns have you recognized in the stuff that people highlight? And I haven't recognized any patterns. Maybe you can. Here's one from Joy. The life inside you is a scream of the mind.
Život u tebi je kliktaj uma, poezija misli. Isus, Boži Hristos, razum, prva reč i delatni princip. Harmonija čvrstog i praznine, umetnost života, gejzir svake kreacije, umiranja, rađanja, ljubavi i istine. Materija peva, horovi atoma, mikrokosmos vibrira, makro odgovara. Erupcije plazme na suncu i zvezdama i duhovne radosti duboko u srcima. Nepresušni izvor oblika, reči i boje, nenarušiv sklad lepote, takta i melodije. Bože, da li pesma najlepša postoji? Čoveče, Bog granica nema, ispred lepše uvek lepša. Život u tebi je...
Midwestuary 2025, August 22nd through the 24th, in Elmhurst, Illinois. A weekend you won't want to miss, with special guests Cale Zeldin, Paul Vanderklay, Rod Dreher, Elizabeth Oldfield, John Vervaeke, and Jonathan Pajot. Midwestuary 2025, the Fellowship of the Spirit. Stay tuned for more details. Visit us at midwestuary.com for ongoing updates.
There we go. There's been like a different Joe Rogan will make a couple different appearances in the clip stream. For example, this one has this bit about apraxia, less body awareness that dissolves somatic boundaries, engages larger consciousness planes, and enables telepathy. As a clip from Joy.
You know, they want heavy boots to know where their feet are, or a heavy necklace to know where their chest is. And I think not being in your body, not knowing you have your body, leaves you to live in this We can't imagine that. We're so bound to our body. We have these dissociative boundaries where it's like, you're Joe and I'm Kai. And so, you know, they want heavy.
And meanwhile, Lynn Lavoie will shout out that Rupert Sheldrake got one.
Goes back. So Rupert Sheldrake, the Cambridge biologist who's in this project, he didn't believe in telepathy either. I mean, I think a lot of scientists, right, don't believe this stuff right away either. And he had a senior professor that he really looked up to, Sir Rudolph Peters, and he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth for being such a brilliant scientific mind, right? And this Sir Rudolph Peters was in like the tea room at Cambridge one time and telling young Dr. Sheldrake, young Rupert here, that he just heard of a blind boy that he tested who obviously is blind and can't read an eye chart. But if his mother is looking at it, he could read it.
Whoa.
And that's how Rupert Sheldrake fell into this world. And that boy was diagnosed with, being blind, but also at the time what they called, severe mental retardation, which no, we don't call it that. That's, but that's, who knows what this young individual had, if he had apraxia or what was going on, or if he had,
But the chance encounter with that guy and that patient and Rupert Sheldrake has given us morphogenetic fields. How about that? And here's a guy making denim jackets look great. Really.
He's not giving that to us. He thinks he's like, metaphysics is bunk. But then he goes and he talks about epistemology, how we know what we know.
Yeah.
But how on earth do you talk about the nature of knowledge without presupposing categories of reality first or simultaneously, right? So metaphysics and epistemology have to be working simultaneously. You don't get to talk about epistemology while holding metaphysics in your back pocket, pretending it doesn't exist. So I think he's got a very disjointed worldview at this point.
It's hokey pokey philosophy, half in, half out.
Yes, it's what Van Til said this. Cornelius Van Til, who's considered the father of presuppositionalism. He says,
"Oh man, I wish I was like Cornelius Van Til and considered the father of presuppositionalism."
You don't get to choose epistemologies like you choose hats. Right?
Yeah.
You don't, like, oh, what hat am I going to wear today? Right? It's like, well, I'm going to wear this one. Maybe today I'll be a rationalist. Maybe today I'll be an empiricist. And you don't get to choose your metaphysic as though it has no bearing on your theory of knowledge. They go hand in hand. And this is the disjointed nature of unbelieving thought. He's not giving that to us.
Oh, that's a fumble. I was supposed to click. This is how I steer. This is me chasing this thing, This is how I steer. This is me chasing this thing, This is how I steer. And then from Clint D on our Reaper's Harvest today, we have Profilicity is an old story.
Those ideas of mutual aid and communities that were intentional and being entirely only vegetarian and not using tractors and not even having animals on their homestead, like all of those concepts probably would have struck some of those old school Vermont farmers the wrong way.
These flatlanders sure are weirdos.
The regenerative farmer down in Virginia, Joel Salatin, once wrote in one of his books this idea that when you move to a rural community, you can be a nudist or you can be a Buddhist, but you can't be a nudist Buddhist because that's too weird for people. And I could definitely imagine how the Nearings, with a lot of their ideals, as well as particularly the haughty nature and way that Scott Nearing would present himself, as something that could rub those locals the wrong way, which I have no idea what that would be like at all.
Are you a native Vermonter? Where'd you come from? Why the hell don't you go back? Mind your own business. Go back to Hartford, where you belong.
Okay. Meanwhile, our good friend Alexander Dugan has made an appearance. Lynn has caught for us.
of the Soviet Union, the liberals in the international relations, they have won because they, according to Fukuyama, they have remarked that now it is the moment of unipolarity, so all the world should turn into democracy, liberal democracy, no more realism, no more nation state, we need to destroy them, we need to come to global government. That is normal part of the manuals of international relations in this section about dedicated to liberalism in international relations. That is not conspiracy theory. World government is a politological, sociological, but
What world okay. Meanwhile, I made this one for Pastor Paul.
I was very pleased to meet one of them, Lord Redding, at the coffee house. There were several coffee houses. Praise the Lord. Better have a sip. There were several coffee houses.
And here's one that didn't attribute first.
Which brings up the question of why did anyone ever think these arguments were plausible in the first place? It's that most scientists subscribe consciously or unconsciously to what I want to call the great man theory of science. And since we're totally inclusive on this channel, when I say man, that might, of course, be a woman. I've named it after the great man theory of history. It has it that history is driven by the actions of a few individuals in key moments. This idea has fallen out of favor with historians, and you don't need a great man to explain why. History is strongly driven by geopolitical reality, resource.
And great men determine geopolitical realities. I don't even know what this lady's trying to say. LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. LARP! We have the ability to LARP and LARP hard. That was a McMo one, I think. I believe that was a McMo masterpiece. I think that was his stylistic impression, signature thereof. Okay. To anybody just showing up like Paul out there, the Pray for Europe part of this stream was how the European Commission is actually using the goatsy thing to warn people what's coming. But now we're doing a Reaper's Harvest where we go through the clip stream and find the interesting bits. Here's one where where Slack got this.
Yet announce this publicly. This might be the place where I announce it publicly. So the rumor is that the next Daily Wire seminar will be about the Book of Revelation. That's the rumor.
Yes, and I remember you floating the idea and thinking, "Oh my goodness, what is that?"
I think I haven't.
I especially can't wait until they cover the Synagogue of Satan part in the Book of Revelation. I'm really looking forward to that myself. Meanwhile, Mills thought this Tendency and Tonos bit was worth sharing.
Christianity have to be held together, and we have to always be careful not to collapse one to the other, which is the Son of Man, the glorious Son of Man, dressed as an emperor on a throne, the right hand of God the Father, and also the crucified one who laid his life down. And I think that it is in holding those two images in tension that we find the solution to the problem. And we have our temptations. Like everyone has a temptation to go one side or the other. And, it's okay to have a tendency, but in our culture right now, we're so ripped apart that we have to find that tension again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Finding the tension again. The Mosque of Moloch, the Synagogue of Satan. Albania has goat-seeking missiles. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, Ron Copperman, ladies and gentlemen, is folding laundry. Don't miss out. You should too, perhaps. Meanwhile, Mills found this. But see, while we have different people watching, they find different things noteworthy, such as this one, where Mills says metagelical equals digital Anabaptist. The St. Christopher Network.
You know, what I see in kind of institutional failures of my own church, I think is more than made up for by the emergence of this. I mean, I call you guys sort of digital Anabaptists. You know, there's kind of these networks across the internet using the tools of the extraordinary tools and platforms of the internet to open up the riches of the Christian faith. And I mean, I think it's, I see it as sort of a marriage of tech bros and trad bros. You know, I think the work that you're doing in the symbolic world, the work that Martin does, and Paul, though he's more of a technophobe.
Paul's more, that he must have meant King's North. He must have meant King's North. But yes, we're using the internet because Jesus. Brian says he's inspired by folding laundry. Oh, now they're folding laundry together while Cassandra makes waffles and coffee. You see, that's the thing. We're actually, there's things going on. We're not just all here together. We're doing things like laundry. Meanwhile, this one also from Mills, I was fond of.
Now, let me give you a quote that highlights how this tuning, herding, and conditioning taps into people's vulnerabilities as these companies prepare this product for their real customer. The Facebook document details the many ways in which the corporation uses its stores of behavioral surplus to pinpoint the exact moment at which a young person needs a confidence boost, and is therefore most vulnerable to a specific configuration of advertising cues and nudges. By monitoring posts, pictures, interactions, and internet activity, Facebook can work out when young people feel stressed, defeated, overwhelmed, anxious, nervous, stupid, silly, useless, and a failure. So if our economic system is doing more of that, we want to return to the long scale of economic history and ask the question, how do economic systems change?
If our economic system is determining your mood by the way you interact with the algorithms, oh dear. Now, in case you don't know, there's a fella by the name Jordan Hall. He came on and said that they eat babies, and you can find that discussion here on this channel. But he shared a discussion he had on the X platform, and I went and found a piece of it I thought y'all would like.
In some sense, potentially available forever. Certainly it's available for the next couple of hours and probably for years, right? This is being recorded and it's a conversation, but now it lives in this weird thing where none of us actually know who else is in the room with us.
Like Grimgrid could be here right now.
Who knows? It could be your great-grandchild is watching this 150 years from now. And what their participation is also very difficult to know. Right? If I think I live in a reality where the only participation is bound by our ability to communicate right here, I'm probably not in the reality that is actually really real. That grandchild who's watching this 150 years ago is present in this room in a fashion that is different than the way you're present in the room, but it's not zero. That's the hyper conversation. And the causal structures that is in some.
And the causal structures is how we're going to do it, synchrony harmonics. Meanwhile, this, in case it triggers a past life flashback for you, here's something I found I liked. This is apparently an Egyptian singer performing a song in the language of ancient Egypt. And you know, even if you don't genuinely have a flashback to a previous life when you were an ancient Egyptian, you can sit there and pretend you did, and that's fun.
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Nanny. So that's it for the Reaper's Harvest. We're gonna need some fresh clips if we do it again next week. There's in the Reaper's room. It's like the discussion room for the Reaper's Hall. There's people saying why they clip, how they clip, and what they clip. If you need direction and insight, that may help. Meanwhile, I think McMo is going to be cooking something up. Make sure you're subscribed over at McMoSav, and I'll see you over there.